What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is the Guitar Corner round 2. I got my man Carter's Telly. It's Telly week here. We're gonna do. We'll put the pick down. Let's do some finger picking stuff. This is like a F sharp, like a 12-bar blues thing. Here comes a turnaround. D flat, D. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. There's the diaz from last time. Ooh, these strings are light. I'm like, wee, 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 wee. Grab a little pick, a little distortion. There's one thing we could do. No, blew it. Yeah, buddy. A little magic ninth in there. Carter, I love this guitar. You got 10s on here, and I'm an idiot, and I keep putting 12s and 13s on mine, so I'm kind of running over here. I'm like that old Super Mario game where dude's on the ice, like, I'm sliding around, but man, this thing is cool. Folks, thanks for coming back again. Man, this is going to be a lot of fun doing this. It really is. I already got some comments that helped me a ton. I'm going to slow down a little bit on some of these things. Folks, if you're just starting out on the guitar, I hope you stick with me because we're going to talk about some inspiring things. I got a stack of stuff I want to cover from, going through the quarantine and remembering how much, just how great all these heroes and these guitar players that we love are, and just musicians in general. But if you're trying to get up to speed on some stuff, I'm putting some links down right below the video here. You can check out of some people that do this way better than me. That'll get you where you need to go. But yeah, today we're just doing some 12-bar stuff. That was F minor. I'm kind of leaving out a lot of information in that fourth because I think it's really cool when you leave out the third. Because, major or minor, the thing that's, going to tip people off is going to be that flat third first. If you leave that out, you can play in minor or harmonic minor where you kind of... And also, you could still play some of the pentatonic blues stuff. And I like to stick that in there too. So it's a nice shape because it's just... You can go crazy with that stuff. That's I probably stole that from Paul Gilbert, man. He's got those. That dude's crazy town. And then we went up to the 5 chord would have been D flat, D, do a little rockabilly change, and then back. So I played a lot of pentatonic stuff, a lot of harmonic minor, and then sometimes I'm just going by notes. Like Carter always said, out of town chords in Nashville. I got some out of town notes just. So if you're in the pentatonic stuff, if you go right by those, you get away with murder, people. That's just you can kind of slip past those two. A couple other things real quick that was happening there. I am a fingerstyle nerd. I'm not incredible at it, but I love it, and that came from this man right here. Once again, Mark Knopler. Man, that dude is he's the whole thing. A lot of stuff where you lead with your thumb almost as the bass note. So I'm hammering on, and then 2 fingers right here. Just playing fourths off the pentatonic. A lot of ghost notes. So you're really working that just to get that roll going. So there's a few things to work on, a few licks you can grab out of there. Here's a good John Mayer riff for you too. You go. Start here. I'm still on that. You can do it fingerstyle too. Oh, I blew it. I blew it good. It's a fun lick. But the main thing here is, folks, as much as hopefully we can get you some stuff you can sink your teeth into and some things to try, it's always going to come back to trying to sing on the guitar, trying to play something soulful, I tried to get to a little, tried to get to a little melody there as I was working that out. One of the things that really helped me, I was in a band called Josh Castley and the Classified Ads when I was about 11 years old back in Michigan, and it was the drummer Josh, his dad Jim Castley was sort of the producer of the band, and he would always plug in a metronome like into the PA, and we had to practice with that metronome. I remember growing up on the piano at home. There was an old Franz, one of those block metronomes, and that's all the thing does, man. You take it out, you can get an app for your phone. It just you just set the tempo, and it's really, really great, because I do feel like if you're gonna be, you want to play behind the beat, you want to be kind of soulful and lay back. How are you gonna lay back if you don't know where the beat is in the first place? So having playing along with a metronome, having something that really is a center and really steadies you is a great thing. If you're trying to build up speed, which can frankly be pretty overrated. Some of my favorite guitar players are not, they're not flying around on the boards. But if you're trying to, build up technique and speed, it's a really great way of knowing where you're at. Because say you practice for a few hours one night and you're at this tempo and it's clean and what you're doing, it's great. I'm talking about a metronome and I don't have one here to give you an example. It's like, once again, great teacher, buddy. But, the next night you're up even 2 beats on the metronome. Kind of have some indication of where it's like if you're gonna go lift weights or something, you want a number. It's nice to have things that can be counted or tracked. You can have some sense of where you're at. So I would definitely look at getting an app for the phone, or if you're old school and you just love, you don't want everything on the phone. There's a million metronomes out there. I think there's stuff for probably $15-$20, but it's really great to work with that. It'll give you, I think, a really good center in your playing, and it helped me a lot. I started out as a drummer, so I feel like I still lead with my right hand on guitar a little bit. I'm left-handed, but I always was coming down on the drums and the guitar. I played regular, not the flipped over Hendrix Magic way. But it's really just like anything, it's putting in the hours. Just got to put in the hours, got to sit down and just grind it out. And it's cool because the thing about being patient with practicing, and believe me, I'm having to touch up a lot of stuff to talk to y'all right now. I think I got set in my ways with some of my live stuff, and then I spent so much time in the studio and on the business side of things during the quarantine. I'm having to go and woodshed a little bit and grind it out myself. But the cool thing is when you're doing that, you may hit a plateau for a while, but you'll, like anything else, you'll get that one little ray of light, and it's funny that just that one change may open up your playing. Which, you grab one new thing you can do, or you go, you notice, oh man, a week ago, here's where I was at on the metronome. I'm making progress, and that there's no better feeling than even getting a little bit ahead of where you were before. And so there's people who are incredible players, and they get a little joy getting, maybe learning something new. That feeling of joy, I really do believe, is just the same as the player who's maybe not very good yet, but they get a little bit further. Sometimes maybe that player is even having a better time. So even if something seems unattainable, believe me, no matter where you're at, somebody can run rings around you on something. It's about being ourselves and about finding something that moves us. So as long as you're making progress, you're doing great. So what else did I want to talk about here? I jotted a couple things down. We did some ghost notes. We did some double stops. We did all the going between the pentatonic blues and stealing some little grace notes. Let me just talk about intention real quick here. And this is the idea that all the players that I feel like are that stay in the Guitar Hall of Fame, they're the ones that whatever they're doing, whether it's one note. Mark Knopler was the king of just. Vibrato and just you're hearing it in your head and you're playing it. So the thing is just being connected with what your heart's saying, what your mind's saying, and what it is you're trying to play. When I first started out, I joked around in this last video about Yngwie Malmsteen, because I listened to was it Black Star was the first thing that came out on his first record, and the world cracked in half. The sky opened up. All my dreams were my guitar prayers were answered. I was like, this is what I feel like inside. It just moved me. And I'm sure part of that's growing up around, some classical piano and some things like that in the house. But it absolutely blew me away. The only thing was I got fooled into thinking that what was so cool about that playing was the speed. And really what it was just some of the patterns and the things that were coming out of classical music that I hadn't heard, because I wasn't, I was a kid, I was listening to rock and roll, I wasn't listening to classical music. And so I was so concerned with, playing quickly. And if we get to a place where our playing is disconnected from our hearts and our souls and our intention, nobody's going to want to hear that. You can play fast and people are still going to feel it because what you're doing was intentional. A lot of times, I think I started out that little distortion thing with a little... trim picking, where you basically just one note. That's cool on a couple notes too. That can be something that it sounds, it seems, fancier than it is for the listener, and it moves, it creates some emotion. It's kind of it's almost a world beat sound, because a lot of instruments that's what they do. They have that flutter and that tremolo. But the thing is, you're still playing a melody when you're doing that. Say da 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 da. So you have some speed, but it's not about how many notes you're playing. It's about still having something that a person can kind of sing. And when they hear it, they feel like you're singing. So I would just say, anytime you're working on your playing, or anytime you listen to other guitar players, notice when they're moving you emotionally. It's probably not the... I used to do that stuff all the time, and I'll show you that stuff in another lesson. It's a lot of fun, but, that's real cool for a second. But the average listener, they're eventually going to check out of that, and they're still going to wish we had the Mark Knopler. All right, I'm somehow at 14 minutes talking about this, talking about my love of Mark Knopler. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to get some more coffee, and I'll have another one of these up and ready for you fine people in just a couple days. Leave me some comments. Let me know what's working, what's not, what you're interested in. And I'll see you in a bit. Thanks, y'all.